Hi everyone, I'm Lizzie and welcome back to my channel, Lizzie on Locale. Where I am in the US is actually part of New England, and thankfully our states are doing pretty well in terms of coronavirus. We are able to travel around the states nearest to us because our COVID numbers have been relatively low. Obviously that is subject to change as each day, each week, each month progresses, but right now we are okay. Here I'm going to tell you a little bit about where we went, why we chose those places, and whether or not I would recommend that you actually go there too. I am currently living with my parents and my boyfriend, Cliff, and as much as I love them, being cooped up with the three of them all the time can get a little bit much. So, to try and break things up, give us a little bit of space, Cliff and I decided to go on a day trip. So, because it is about to be spooky season in October, we decided to go to Salem, Massachusetts. For anybody who doesn't know, Salem, Massachusetts is the place in the US where the Salem witch trials happened. This means that in the 1600s, 25 people were tried and killed for being suspected witches. A fun fact about Salem, if you also didn't know, is that the famous, probably one of the best Halloween movies out there, Hocus Pocus, was filmed in Salem. The cool thing about Salem is that they have gone all out and have fully embraced their history in terms of witches. So, the fall is the perfect time to visit. The first stop that Cliff and I made was the Salem Witch Museum. This is the perfect place to go to if you have never been to Salem before. This is because it gives you the history of the Salem witch trials. When you go into the museum, you're actually put into a room with all these kind of creepy mannequins surrounding you. And this is to help tell the story of the Salem witch trials. So if you know nothing about the history of Salem, it is a great starting point for your visit. The next place that I would suggest going to is the Peabody, Essex Museum. One of the exhibits that unfortunately we missed out on because we went on a Thursday and it was opening on Saturday is a whole exhibit about the Salem witch trials. They will have pictures and artifacts from that time and will help to explain again the history of the Salem witch trials and why it's so important today to learn about them. The other exhibit that's coming up in November is a fashion exhibit. And honestly, that's like the number one reason why I go to museums sometimes. I love and obsessed with fashion exhibits. I mean, hello, this poster is from the Met Gala when Chanel was exhibiting there. I just love fashion. I love seeing clothing from different periods, and that is one exhibit that will be opening up in November. So if you have the chance to go, the Salem Witch Trials section will be open for several months, and then this new fashion line will be open as well. So if you are going to Salem, I would also highly suggest the Peabody Essex Museum. The last museum that I would hands down, if you do nothing else that is quote unquote like educational, if you choose to visit Salem, I would just say go to the Salem Witch House. It is the only house in Salem that is still connected to the Salem witch trials in the 1600s. So one of the judges that was in the Salem witch trials that actually sentenced some people to death, it is his house, and they still have a lot of artifacts from that time in the house original. So for example, they still have a table and chairs, their beds, their baby baskets. It's really cool and really fascinating. But the absolute best part are the docents or the people that work at the museum are so knowledgeable. They were honestly the best part of the tour was just being able to talk to people that were so knowledgeable about the time, the house, and the history. So again, if you do nothing else, go visit the Salem Witch House. Don't just stand outside and take a cute selfie. Go into the house. The last thing that I would highly suggest you do is just walk around Salem. And I don't mean in the main streets, I mean go off onto the side street. There are beautiful homes. And that was actually one of the ways that we stumbled upon one of the places that was used to film the movie Hocus Pocus. Part of the Peabody, Essex Museum, there is something called the Ropes Mansion, and that is actually where Allison lived in the movie. At this time, the museum unfortunately was closed for people going into it, but perhaps in a year or so, the inside will be open and you can see if it matches what was actually filmed in the movie. If you're also looking for one more piece of Hocus Pocus magic, you can visit one other really cool landmark, and that is where Max and Danny lived in the movie as well. Now, it is somebody's private home, so you cannot go into it, and you can take a picture of it, but just know it is in a private neighborhood. So, when Cliff and I tried to take a picture, we tried to do it stealthily, and the picture came out looking like this. Yeah, it's awful, but it is there. That is the house that Danny and Max live in the movie Hocus Pocus. So if you choose to go, honestly, you can Google it. It comes right up on Google, the Hocus Pocus house, and you can easily find it, do a drive-by, maybe take a better picture than we did. Salem is a great place to visit if you're able to travel to different parts of New England now, or if you just want to explore a new town and get into that spooky season spirit. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!